Amit, thank you very much for talking to us on ET Now. As you know, we are in conversation with Amazon's global SVP and its country head for India, Amit Agarwal. He joins us to take us through the highlights of the Prime Day sale. This is unprecedented because it's happening in India for the first time before other countries. Amit, I was just going through the highlights and it looks like your conviction to hold this in India ahead of other countries in the world paid off, going by the numbers of sellers and sales. So take us through the highlights.
Yeah, sure. First, I just want to make sure that all of you are safe and well. As you said, these are unprecedented times, and we discussed quite a bit about Prime Day, and we thought the best thing for us to do was to ask our seller partners themselves. And overwhelmingly, more than 70% of the sellers uh, uh, that we surveyed told us that they were looking at Amazon and Prime Day as a very important source for jump-starting their business. Uh, we take this responsibility very seriously. We have more than 6.5 lakh sellers on our marketplace, most of them small, medium businesses. And this Prime Day was dedicated to SMBs. It was a continuation of the string of activities we've been doing. We had done the small, medium business day. We had done Stand for Handmade. And Prime Day was intended to be in that string of events a way for sellers to take advantage of the customer interest ahead of Diwali so that they could actually jumpstart their businesses in time for Diwali, which is a very important season for them.
Right.
I'm very humbled to see the participation. Nearly 100 sellers participated. This is the highest ever small, medium base participated on Amazon and received orders. So these are not just people who participated and provided items for sale. They actually, each of them received orders from customers, and they received orders from 97% of India's PIN codes, which kind of also showcases Prime's ubiquitous penetration. I'm also very excited that the specialized programs we have, Karigar for artisans, Saheli for women entrepreneurs, local shops for local stores, and Launchpad for small startups, also saw their highest sales day ever. Finally, in terms of membership, Prime Day saw the twice as big signups from customers for Prime as last Prime Day. And we saw more Prime members shop with us during this event than they have ever before in the history of Amazon. So, all in all, very humbling and overwhelming to see the response that we've got.
Right. It's actually good to see the demand coming back in a big way, and this is something that we have seen with e-commerce platforms in the last few weeks. I mean, globally, I think Amazon has over 150 million subscribers on Prime. How are the India numbers picking up? I mean, I'm assuming it's already over a million, but how are you seeing this picking up in India?
Uh, uh, India has been one of the fastest growing prime geographies for a while, and it is also the most engaged prime member base. So, if I can give you some signals from the current Prime Day. As I said, the number of customers signing up for Prime during this event was two times as last Prime Day. And just to give you some base, just during the lead up period, we had a promotional program out there to shop from SMBs during the lead up period, and more than 1 million Prime members shop from SMBs just during the lead up period. So, it's been a very fast growing population. It's the most engaged. More than 4 out of 5, more than 80% of Prime members uh, did shopping or used entertainment or music or reading or gaming during this Prime Day event. So it's a very highly engaged base. It's growing very fast, and we are super excited by the growth of Prime so far.
Right. In fact, I was just going through the numbers. Your team has shared highest participation of 91,000 SMB sellers from 5,900 pin codes, and 62,000 SMB sellers from small towns, and all of them received orders. And 2009 SMB sellers became crorepatis. Tell us a little about those crorepatis. What categories would these be? Which cities did they come from?
Yeah, so we kind of look at we were trying to dissect the data for SMBs only. These are the sellers as defined by the government who are small in their annual turnover, and we wanted to make sure that we were having a very meaningful impact to their businesses, because that's the litmus test of, are you really making a difference to the surface area that drives the largest workforce in the country. Uh, so what we saw was, as the press release said, nearly 1 lakh SMB sellers received orders from 97% of India's pin codes. 4,000 plus SMBs earned more than ₹1 million, and 209 SMBs had sales of more than 1 crore rupees. So these are very meaningful numbers in the current circumstances where things have been soft. And in terms of uh, the products that are being sold, by the way, Prime Day is also a very popular time for many businesses, small and large, to launch new products. So we've had uh, many Indian brands, small brands, launch robotic vacuum cleaners to oximeters to juicers to baking molds, and even the large brands, whether it's Onida, LG, Milton, and so on, have been using Prime Day as for them to launch new products. So first time products are being launched to customers in India. We are seeing, outside of essential products such as groceries, which have been things the customers are buying. Uh, Stay-at-home products have been very popular. So this would include your laptops, consumer electronics, your kitchen appliances, uh, your work from home, whether it's your furniture, your kids schooling material, kids toys, engagement, even Kindle, a Fire Stick, TVs, or large appliances, because customers are realizing that the new normal requires them to stay home for longer. So these are all example of categories that you could see both new product launches in and customers shopping for long.
Right. I noticed, Amit, that among the popular smartphone brands, TV brands, it included the likes of Samsung, Redmi, OnePlus, Oppo. So, does this mean that the whole anti-China sentiment that we are seeing did not really reflect on sales? That is ultimately what the customer wants. And can you give us a sense of country of origin wise? Was there more demand for say products made in India, or ultimately this depends on what the customer wants and the best
Well, I
value
think
or price that they get.
the customer shopping would reflect the selection that's out there. If you look at home categories, as I said, there are so many new innovative products that are local brands that are being launched, from your juicers to baking molds to mixers to robotic vacuum cleaners to skincare brands. These are all very innovative, creative, new Indian brands that are using Amazon to launch their businesses. It just happens that in the categories that you mentioned, the large brands that occupy a bulk of the consumption in India are. It's at the end of the day, it's an ultimate reflection of how that selection landscape looks like. Our job is to comply with government policies and regulations to make customers aware with the information that they desire to know. Since country of origin is something that they wish to know, we work with our sellers to make sure that, in fact, we've made it mandatory for sellers to provide that information to customers, and we leave the choice to the customers.
Right. And you mentioned, pulse oximeters and baking molds and all that. That's also a wide list of across categories how customers have been shopping, whether it's sanitization or smartphones or anything. Now, any unusual purchases or unusual trends that you would like to share in terms of products that did really well this time around compared to previous years?
I see so much uh, healthy food stuff like juicers and baking mixers, and it seems like the whole country is trying out new recipes. If you kind of look at what people are buying, I have been trying that stuff at my household as well, so I can imagine. And you know, People seem to be paying attention to safety quite a bit. So when you look at oximeters and sanitization and so on, uh, it is, there have been innovative product launches, small product launches. There's somebody had created a plastic hook that allows them to maintain social distancing when they're touching objects, yet get their work done. So there are these small, innovative new products that are being created that are finding customer adoption as well. So I would say that a lot of home schooling, a lot of home work office, ergonomics, health and personal care, Even apparel, a lot of the apparel preferences have shifted to homeware as customers are being more at home and looking at sleepwear, more relaxed wear. So there are lots of products that are paying attention to those kind of needs for customers, and you see a lot of new product launches in those categories.
Right. Hopefully, we will get to sample some of your baking experiments when you're back in Bangalore, Amit. But the
Yeah, I
other
did. I
point I
did
want,
try a coffee cake with my daughter, and it turned out to be very good. So I can claim at least that experiment was a big success.
look forward to that coffee cake at Brigade then next time around. But Amit, the other point I wanted to get a sense of was ahead of the sale, the sense we got was that this would lead to Amazon clocking 4x the daily sales volume that it usually does. That's what reports indicated. So can you give us a sense of how the daily sales volume during Prime Day compared to what you generally see on other days? Just to give us a sense of the surge or the spike that you saw.
Yeah, I think I like to talk about metrics that were part of our goals, and I feel that these circumstances are such that the most important metric for us was to actually see how the small medium businesses on Amazon did versus how much did customers shop. It's very important. It's a nuanced difference. It's very important for us to see secular growth of the supply chain, of the ecosystem, for us to see sustained change in consumption patterns. And so there, I can say that when you look at the seller base out there, Karigar sellers, for example, saw 6 times growth. Many of these small medium businesses, saw multiple times growth that they see in a normal business day. So I think in terms of both participation, in terms of the scale that they saw, and in terms of Prime members signups, are the metrics that we are sharing at this point in time. Overall,
That's
we
an
are humbled
interesting
by the
shift.
response.
That's an interesting shift, Amit, because for Amazon it's always been customer obsession, but now you seem to be focusing more on the seller side or rather concerted effort to kind of digitize India sellers at scale. This also came up in your earnings call recently where Brian mentioned this goal for Amazon.
No way, they're not orthogonal goals. Prime is an example of truly how customer obsession comes together at Amazon. Prime is a program that you need to earn trust in by doing the really hard, small things right over a long period of time. You don't construct a Prime program and suddenly create a Prime day and have customers and selling partners adopt it. It's the output of 7 years of very stepwise, brick by brick effort to create a customer experience that customers are willing to pay up to sign up for a membership, and selling partners look forward to it to launch new products to jumpstart their businesses. As
Right.
I said, we signed up twice as many new members during Prime Day as we did last year. We had the highest number of Prime members participating in this Prime Day. The reason I'm talking about small businesses and selling partners is because these circumstances are not normal circumstances. As a company that has been at the forefront of e-commerce, online and technology in India, I consider it as our responsibility as a company to play a very important and meaningful role in first keeping ourselves and our customers safe, in making sure that our customers get our essential products. And we've been talking about this for quite a while. I've been talking about this. And for this event, the priority was, in addition to those two, to make sure that small, medium businesses come out of the situation that they are in and start seeing
Right.
secular growth. So it is a very important priority. I consider it as an important corporate responsibility as an organization that is pushing the boundaries of how India's potential should be unleashed. And what we're seeing an increasing trend is both customers realize e-commerce is the safest way to shop, but simultaneously we are seeing an increased trend of sellers coming online, embracing online, not just to sell to national customers, regional and local customers, but also to sell to global customers, as we have shared before, that people are using global selling on Amazon to reach out to global customers.
Right. Final couple of questions, Amit. Recently, this issue of how Amazon uses seller data to promote its own private brands came up, during the testimony in the US. How are you going to assure sellers in India that you're not using their data to promote your private labels? Because a few sellers here expressed concerns. How are you really going to assure them on that count, since your focus so much now is on enabling sellers on the Amazon platform, small and medium businesses?
Well, I really cannot comment on some of the news out there. I can only say that Amazon India has been a marketplace from day one. And we provide tools and services to our sellers that are intended to provide them with a fair and transparent way to get the infrastructure, the tools and services so that they can build their services on Amazon. And we take that trust very seriously. And then from that perspective, we hold a very high bar internally, and hence it's very important for us to be sure internally that we are treating every seller fairly. And we have programs in India that share insights with any business motivated to launch new products. A lot of the launches on Amazon are examples of new seller products, new small businesses launching new products on Amazon. So it's very hard for me to indicate anything beside our actions will have to prove for themselves.
Right. Final question, Amit. Any thoughts on the government's move to regulate non-personal data to enable multiple entities sharing it? We understand from the US Chamber of Commerce that it hasn't gone down too well with American internet giants because it goes against the principles of competition. Any thoughts on this at all as we wrap up this interview?
It's very early for me to sort of comment very specifically on this. A lot of these things are conversations and inputs being sought, and in the right forums we provide our inputs. I also recognize that as India evolves itself in this new digital world, a lot of traditional mindsets will get challenged. A lot of regulations and laws will try to swing on one or the other side and find the right balance. We are here for the long term. We want to be a very core partner with the government, with the policymakers, so that the right enabling policies should be created. At the end of the day, the policies should enable companies like ours to empower businesses out there to be successful, to grow, to consumers to find what they're looking for, to find the largest selection, great value, great convenience. And that's the feedback that we keep providing.
Sure. On that note, thank you very much for talking to ET Now. And congratulations again on Prime Day going off very well for Amazon. Thank you very much. Stay safe and take care, Raman.
You too, and all of you stay safe.